And I'm going to tell you a story. From that point on, I had to make a decision. I had to negotiate my interactions with my mother, with God. I couldn't be all in with my heart, so I never got the proper nurturing and development from my mother that I was supposed to get. So I had a scholarship. I'm about to close this real quick on this question, and I'll let you ask the next one. I went to college on football scholarship. I was really good, best player in Philadelphia, different, because I poured all of my desire to please my mother into school, into everything, and thinking that this will make her happy, this will make her accept me. She never would accept me, but I excelled. I got a scholarship to college. You know, I was on scholarship so I could live there, but you had to leave on certain occasions, Thanksgiving, holidays, Christmas, different things. So this was the first occasion I had to leave. I had suppressed my entire family. I had blocked it all out because it was easier for me to cope with life as if they didn't exist. But I didn't realize that I did it until I was in a room with some of my friends. And one of my friends said, I can't wait to go home, man. I miss my family, especially my mother. That's my best friend. And it echoed and it echoed. And God took me somewhere and I sat there. And then I had a rush of my family and everything. And I started getting emotional. And I told him I'll be right back. I went to my dorm room and I cried. I cried like cats and dogs. I cried out. I didn't know what was happening to me. God had uprooted all of the stuff I had buried and suppressed. And he said, you got to face it. I had to call my mother and ask her, can I meet with her when I came home? Because she had moved out of the house. And we had a relationship no better than an acquaintance on the street. When we see each other, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? It was no intimate. It was no love in it. When I got home, and my mother, she was always nice and different things like that. I said, Mom, hi, Mom. I thank you for meeting with me. And I went on and telling her stuff, stuff you did with me when I was 9, other stuff that happened, this. And she was like, okay. She was listening real attentive. And then I let her speak. And you know what she told me, JD? I've never done any of those things. I said, what? And something came over me, such great anger. I felt like I could have snapped her in half. I was so filled with anger and rage. And I said, what? She said, I never did none of those things. And I started crying. I said, what do you mean? And God said, leave. I left in tears and went to my room. And that's when God had his way with me. That's what he wanted. He said, now I got you where I need you. You have to forgive her. I said, I don't want to. And then I said, okay. Because I never could complain too long because I'm too close with God. So I stopped and I said, okay, God, show me how to forgive her. So he started telling me and showing me how to forgive her. And this is the deep part, and I'm gonna finish here. Once I was able to forgive her, and it took months for me to feel the release that I was really forgiving her, God said, now, you know how you had suppressed that you really had family because how painful it was for you to face? Imagine what your mom had to suppress with all that she'd been through, coming from South, dealing with this, dealing with your dad, this. So he turned what was anger and resentment toward my mom to empathy. Now I was able to experience what she was going through, and it took the anger away, and now it made me want to do better for my mother so that she didn't feel the way she felt. And that's when I realized that God was taking me on a transition to being chosen because I accepted it. I didn't resist where he was trying to take me. I accepted it and forgave her. And I didn't know it would keep building and building and building. I would get more power and more power. But that's how I became who I am now.